And welcome to the Carr's Billington Proud to Farm podcast. And in the space-time continuum of podcast world, it's 2026. So happy new year to our guests. We have Lee Bonner here from Sparex, and we've got Ivan Gillard from Carr's Billington. We're going down a bit of a machinery route this time round. We were at Harper Adams for the last 2 episodes, and we had a great time taking the podcast off-site, but we're back in Herd Media Studios. And welcome to the two of you.
Thank you.
So if we start with yourself, Ivan,
Yeah.
because you've been with the business for quite some time, haven't you?
I have had a little bit of a break, but I've been with Carr's Billington since the 1st of May 1997.
1997. And what is your role here?
Central Machinery Parts Manager.
And what does that entail?
So I look after the parts departments of the 11 machinery branches. 11 machinery branches, which is now 12 as of yesterday with our opening of our new branch at Brook.
Yeah,
So I look after the parts turnover and the margin and basically the staff and what we sell and what we buy in and providing good service to the farmers.
Yeah, so for anybody who's not aware, we opened our machinery expansion at Brock yesterday and it went really well, didn't it?
We did. We had an open day yesterday and it had good footfall and we managed to fill the shop at the last minute and order all some decent products and it looked good.
And there's a really great ground care and parts story going on there, and that is something that the area really needed, wasn't it?
So basically the first item more or less was sold yesterday was a still strimmer. So a battery operated still strimmer, which was the first thing we sold yesterday. And the second thing we sold yesterday was a still chainsaw.
Oh,
so
very good.
That proves that there is
A demand
in that area for ground care and still, and hopefully we'll do well down there.
And when you first started with the business in 1997, where were you?
I was at Morpeth.
Morpeth branch.
Morpeth branch, yes. So I started there in 1997. It was opened as a new branch for Carr's Billington. Before that, I worked around the corner for another Massey Ferguson dealer. That Massey Ferguson dealer was also a plant hire company, and they decided that they wanted to focus on the plant hire because they thought that the plant hire was making more money for less hassle than the farm machinery side was.
All right.
So they decided to get rid of the farm machinery side, and Carr's Billington decided to take over that area for Massey Ferguson and basically wanted to open a branch on the same industrial estate just around the corner, doing what I did for the last 6 years previous. And our old machinery director, John Crawford, basically just rang us up and said, "Do you want to come and work for it?" And I said, yes.
Very good. And I remember when we were looking for stuff for I think it was the Massey 30th anniversary, and I found a picture of you in a really old book from back then.
I look like someone from Boyzone.
Well, I was going to say Bros.
Frost, yeah. That was a very early picture of me in the Carr's Billington catalogue back in the day. So that would have been 97, 98. So I think I would have been 22 maybe then, 23.
And Ivan, you manage this supplier relationship with how many different suppliers for parts and ground care?
I'd have to probably 20 plus, if not
20
more.
plus, yeah. And Sparex, of course, are one of them, and they're one that we've worked with for a very long time. And Lee, your job within Sparex is purely to generate content, and you look after the YouTube channel. You're the face of the YouTube channel, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, because when I was looking at it last night, great engagement, and as we were discussing this morning, you make lights look very sexy.
Yeah, it can be a challenge. I mean, a bearing, what else, with like a filter can be challenging to make it exciting. But we're trying to do it. We're trying to break the industry and break the mold, and try and make things look enjoyable and show the fun side of it. So it's challenging. It's good fun. We're sort of working with different concepts and different things at the moment. Seeing what's sticking, seeing what isn't, and going from there. So yeah.
So just give us a flavour of the products that Sparex provide us.
So, for example, with you guys, it's a lot of accessories. We also do a lot of PTO parts as well. And then you've also got sort of the Sparex alternative engine parts side of things as well. But then sort of diving more into to the accessories. We've got the range of lighting that we offer. So we offer a real broad range of lighting. So this can be for so many different machines. I mean, we done a video in summer, and the sort of new products guy came to us and said, right, these lights are super versatile. And I was like, okay, like I kind of didn't fully believe it. And I was like, okay, I want to prove this. So we went away and went to a customer of ours who had a real broad range of machinery. And he had some tractors, an ATV Ranger, some trailers, telehandler, and we decked out every single machine in these lights just to show how versatile they were. And I mean, it speaks volumes when we put them in the field and we put the drone up and you could just see all these different machines with these bright lights, which was really cool.
So what was the thought process when, because you always had a bit of a sort of YouTube following, but now you've really went for it in a big way. So what was the thought process behind that?
It first started with promoting our platform of us selling direct to customers, and to promote that side of things. So it was to build more brand exposure for Sparex, and actually show what Sparex had to offer. And as time has gone on, it's evolved into these different concepts. So we offer like our how-to videos. So with a lot of our products, we're now building like a catalog on our products on how to fit them, how to use them in different scenarios. So for example, like we've got our reversing cameras. So how can you use that on a forager, in your seed drill, or just putting it on your tractor, and then going into how you actually fit it onto your tractor and how to sync it up and things like that. So we've got our how-to videos, and then we've also got sort of our product highlights. So if we've got any new exciting products that we might want to show, we'll do a video on those. But more importantly, we do our day at the dealer videos, which of course we've done with you guys today. And that is showing off our customers and what they have to offer and how each dealer and customer that we have is so different, and they offer so many different things, and just showing how they work and how they support their customers and farmers within the industry.
Yeah, we've had a great day, and we went round the yard and roped up pretty much everybody into doing some sort of piece on camera, including Ivan. You did really well.
Thank you very much.
But your videos, though, they're really, there's a lot of fun to them. Where do you get the inspiration from?
It tends to be sort of sitting in a room. We will get given sort of a product and sort of, look, we need a campaign on this product, or we need to do a video about this product. And the team will sit down and come up with multiple concepts. Sometimes we try and keep them within reason to what we're doing. But we try and think of things off the wall. So even if that's looking at a totally different YouTube channel and going, oh yeah, let's see if we can do something with that. And then also reading our comments. So if someone says, how durable are they? Are they actually that bright? Or if they're that bright, what do they actually look like? Kind of thing.
Yeah, so you take your steer from the customer.
Yeah, exactly. So seeing what the customer wants, what they're asking for, and then we'll take that literally. And then make a video out of it.
I think also on the lights, we were just discussing it earlier, how the new black and green packaging has made such a difference to the branding of the lights, and taking them out the box, and the black concept and look of them looks really good.
Yeah, definitely. I think the work that the design team have done in there, it really makes them stand out on the shelf.
And the thing is with LED lights, believe you me, I know it, everybody wants to sell you LED lights.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's such a competitive part of the business, is LED lights. And I think you've got your branding and packaging absolutely spot on, like on them, and really taken out of the box to look great.
And I think the core thing that the guys have tried to do with that is showing the information that everyone wants to know.
Yeah.
How many watts are they putting out? How many lumens are they putting out? And how easy are they going to be to fit? And that's what the guys have tried to do with putting that on that packaging.
And just on on Sparex and marketing in general, I've sold Sparex products since 1991, and you've always been up there on your information and marketing, even on the likes of your PTO parts that people struggle with. Your books are really informative, and all the information's there. And if you stick to the basics, you can get through it. Which you've always been really, really good at digital media and print media and books and information.
Exactly.
We were saying earlier on, we were speaking to one of your colleagues, Dave, who said that he actually uses your videos as a bit of an educational piece as well for him, and your warehouse staff do the same. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have the warehouse guys. They will hand pack a lot of our blister packs, that we call them. And I was actually in the warehouse grabbing product for videos. And one of the guys stopped me and said, "You do realise that we actually watch your videos to try and understand what product we're packing?" Because they're just curious, as like they're not from a farming background necessarily. So they just want to know about the products they're actually packing. So they'll go away and watch those videos, which is nice to hear, of course. And a different angle for sure.
So we went straight in there on what Sparex was all about, and we'll come back to it. But we were discussing yourself and your of experience of agriculture, and there's a few sort of strings to your bow. So your family farm down in Somerset, is that right?
Down in Devon. So yeah, we're based down in Devon. Brother farms on, so he's a contractor on 2 farms. And then at mum and dad's, we have 40 calves. We run between 40 and 50 calves. And it kind of started off when me and my brother were young. We were lucky and had a drive that went all the way around the house. So my brother had the Massey Ferguson sit-on tractor. I had the John Deere. And we both spent hours going around on that. So the agricultural and farm side of things came from there. And then I diversed, went into marketing, and he carried on and stayed in farm. And then as time has gone on, I've kind of gone back to farm more. So I've been at Sparex just over, coming up to 5 years. And I very much get involved with my brother, so helping him out with the calves and things. And then also on the equestrian side, I have a lot to do with horses, horse breeding, within eventing, show jumping, and dressage as well. So get time on a lot of stud farms and have been known to sort of help out on those farms as well. So yeah, quite versatile mix.
And we were discussing earlier on as well that the people that we've had on the podcast, when we're talking about what's going on in agriculture at the minute, we get a very northern perspective because that's where we are. But like, what's the big chat down in the south? What's the big issues at the minute?
So big issues at the moment, it was initially straw. So with the crops not growing as well, there was straw. Sort of, are there going to be any shortages and things like that? I mean, equine side, there I knew a few guys have been sort of panic buying haylage, but I can't see there being a big problem there. I mean, on the flip side, you've got kind of silage being a mega year. We've just had the perfect weather for it.
Oh, wow.
The rains come at the right point. And I mean, it's been a bumper year for that, which has been good. And then, I mean, we were talking in the car on the way here. You've got beef prices that have been exceptional. I mean,
we're talking about the price of steaks, basically.
Yeah.
It's true.
So, I mean, we're saying brother started off with a few calves in a barn, sold them on, and that, after selling them, could then afford a bigger barn. And I mean, yeah, that meant we could run up to 50 calves in there, which has been great. But yeah, so it's my first time coming this north, so it's been interesting seeing the differences between the two.
Yeah, furthest north. What was the furthest north you'd been before that? Holyhead.
Holyhead Port.
To get the ferry to Ireland.
Yeah.
You haven't been any further north than Holly?
No,
you
no.
You
That was
haven't
it.
even been up to Newcastle?
Not even Newcastle.
The Toon.
No.
He's not been to the Toon. We did threaten to take him over to Annan for a bit, but I don't think we're going to have time today. We're going to cross the border, but we're not going to have time.
You've never crossed the border into Scotland?
Never been to Scotland. The furthest north, I don't know if you can count, depends what side of the fence you are, but I've been to the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. So whether you...
To be fair, I hadn't actually been to Wales before, and then I went to Wales last week in the car for about 20 minutes, in and out, basically.
20 minutes is enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's long enough.
And so do your family put their beef into a supply chain, or is it sold locally, or?
Yeah, so from... we'll grow them up to a certain range. Then after that, they get sold on to two different places. They can either go to actually where my brother actually works at, and he'll finish them off from there. Sometimes from there they go to a farm called Greendale, and they actually have a farm shop attached onto there, and it goes straight into their farm shop. So sometimes they finish them off. But it's a real vary. To be honest, being most honest, wherever you can get the best price.
Yeah.
Whoever's prepared to pay him the best price, he'll sell them there. But yeah, it does very much vary.
And the horse market, because we were discussing that earlier on, because we haven't had anybody talk about equine. We always have people talk about dairy and sheep and beef and whatever else, but we don't really talk about it a lot. It's something that we need to do, but can you give us a bit more of an insight into that and how that's going at the minute?
Yeah, so it's been a funny time, really. So it has slowed, similar to sort of the struggles the agricultural industry have had. Within the equine industry, it slowed, started to sort of see foals and young stock slow up on sales wise. And then people were sort of starting to look for more older, more sort of developed horses, as in higher up the levels. So whether they're jumping higher, whether they're in higher classes in dressage, they tend to be selling a little bit more, moving a little bit more. But I think it's an industry that is very much changing at the moment, with the whole sort of animal rights movements and things like that.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of on the edge of their seats, kind of waiting to see how that direction goes and what happens. I think what happened with sort of Charlotte this year with the Olympics and everything kind of stirred the pot a little bit in the equestrian industry. So it's everyone's a bit tentative at the moment. It's not really gone one way or the other. So yeah, it's an interesting time.
Okay. Ivan, coming back to you for a second, you obviously cover all of our machinery branches, which means that you travel quite a bit.
Yeah, I do quite a bit of travelling around the branches from Stranraer down to Thirsk, now down to Brock, up to Morpeth and Hexham. So it's quite a varied farming area with different types of farming. From, you know, what would sell in Stranraer wouldn't necessarily sell in Thirsk. So we have a wide range of different products that, you know, it'll sell in one branch but it'll not sell in the other.
Yeah, so give us some examples of that, like from Stranraer to Morpeth. What are the
like
big differences?
Stranraer would sell loads of slurry couplings and slurry fittings, and things to do with slurry tankers, whereas, say, Morpeth predominantly and would probably only just sell more arable parts, combine harvester parts, ploughs and power harrows and stuff for working the land and balers and stuff like that, but wouldn't necessarily touch anything to do with slurry or dairy. It's just two different areas.
And out with Carr's Billington, do you have an agricultural background?
So no, absolutely not. My dad was a coal miner.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and the reason why I got into this industry was because, I left school and I didn't have that many qualifications because I was too busy playing football and climbing trees and camping and things like that. And I left school and didn't really know what I wanted to do the last few weeks of school. And I always had a bit of a mechanical mind, like messing on with my bikes and motorbikes and stuff like that. And I got the job in this industry because my sister was going out with a lad who worked in the tractor shop.
Love it.
And my sister goes, my Ivan's looking for a job and he's looking for a YTS. And the lad that worked there said, well, looking for someone in the parts department. So I started there 1991 in a YTS and absolutely loved it from day one. Really interested in the engines and the tractors and the machinery. I'd never even sat in a tractor when I started in this industry.
Wow.
And I really embraced it and just loved every day of it, especially when in the early days learning and just asking, what's this for? What's that for? And, and I just grasped it and I've really enjoyed it from day one. And I'm coming up nearly 51 and I'm still in the industry and still selling tractor parts.
And when you did your YTS, did you enjoy that? Was it a good experience where you were?
I enjoyed the YTS. I actually went to Kirkley Hall College and actually did a course on agricultural engineering, basically workshop tech course, which I passed. But I was actually in the parts department, not in the workshop, so it was quite hard doing because there wasn't actually a parts department course at any agricultural colleges back then. So I was in the parts department, but I was actually doing an agricultural technician's course. So I was actually, but it really helped us because I got to delve into the machines, taking them apart and stuff. And then eventually going back to the depot, I was actually selling the parts. And like I say, I've really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed it when my YTS finished, when I went from 35 quid to a much better wage.
And what did you do with your first wage?
Probably went to the pub.
Probably went to the pub. So we were discussing earlier on as well about the importance of apprenticeships, and we've got the ADCO Academy. And throughout the business, we've got 11 apprentices, I believe. I think Tom said. How important is that to bring people on through apprenticeships?
So there's been a problem in this industry for quite a number of years of workshop technicians really struggling to get good guys because it's a really technical job where you're looking after hydraulics, electrics, and all the machines are just getting more and more technical. You've got to plug a laptop in, and it's not just turning spanners anymore in the workshop. And we need the apprenticeship program to bring people through to that standard and level. I'm hoping in the new year to look at some possible parts apprenticeships for within the group. I think that would be really important.
Yeah, because as you say, and you said that when you were at YTS level, there wasn't necessarily a parts course or a parts
I did
to
a
go
workshop.
down.
I did a workshop technician's course because there wasn't a parts course available.
And is there one now?
There's one or two colleges starting to do them now. Yes.
Right. So Ivan, in the day-to-day managing of the relationship with Sparex, one of the most exciting things that's happened is the developments on the web. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, so Sparex has launched this program called Sparex B3. Basically, Sparex has always been a B2B dealer Sparex relationship. They've now offered the full range of their products to the wider public. So the public can go onto the Sparex website, order via Sparex, place an order, pay Sparex, and the sale comes via the dealer to the customer. So we're actually selling products now to a wider range of customers that would never ever sold products to before.
And do you think that type of business is increasingly moving more towards online than people that will come in and buy the parts from our parts counters?
Well, the thing is as well, the farmers' sons are much more using their phones on a night time or they're in the tractor cab and the tractor's steering by itself via sat-nav and they're just playing on their phone. So obviously they're looking at products and basically it's the way to go by looking on the website and picking a product and clicking on Sparex and it comes via us to the customer. That's definitely the way it's going forward.
So Ivan, can you just give us a little bit more on your day-to-day role in the business?
Yeah, so I look after 11 to 12 parts departments, now 12 with Brock opening, basically supporting the parts teams, getting the right products in, looking after the stock, dealing with the suppliers, managing any problems within the parts departments, recruiting new staff, looking after anything technical to do with the suppliers.
Yeah, so that's the day-to-day, but you've also had a lot of opportunity for travel within the business. Can you tell us about some of your favourite trips?
Yeah, I've had a few trips abroad. Had quite a few trips to Germany over my career, not just with Cars Billington, but with another company I used to work for. I've enjoyed looking at various warehouses and seeing how different companies work. And I've enjoyed some of the social events that happen. And to be honest with you, it's great being in this industry because everybody kind of knows everybody, and it's great to network and get to meet new people. And people, quite a few people chop and change, but you see them at another company a few years later, and they say, "Oh, I know you. How are you getting on?" And I've had some good trips abroad.
But a lot of business gets done from a social setting, really, doesn't it? And when you all get together that way. Lee, has your experiences with Sparex taken you anywhere exotic?
It has, actually. So when Ivan spoke about sort of the Sparex going from B2B to B2C, we went over to Denmark to promote the platform. And I got to go over to one of Denmark's agricultural shows, which was called Roskilde. So we were going there to sort of promote the platform, and this is what we're doing with our Danish team. And first time going to Denmark for me, but also to understand and see how they do things very differently. So of course, the types of parts and products that they're selling over there is very different to what we'd be selling to you guys. So over there, again, we had sort of lighting bits on there. It was more of the agri parts side of the business that we were pushing and had there. So no, I've been lucky enough to do that. And then, of course, we've got our Day at the Dealer videos. So that has taken us, well, now the full breadth of England. So we've gone from Cornwall all the way up to you guys, all the way out to the east of the country in Ipswich. And I guess from my point of view, I've sort of grown up in Devon, so I've only ever seen sort of the farming that happens in Devon, which primarily on average would be a lot of livestock.
It's small farms in Devon, I believe.
It is, yeah, that's the thing. So it's the farms there aren't, yes, you do, few and far between, have your big farms. But you're looking at low thousands stock levels, whereas you hit sort of Somerset. And I mean, the other week I was on a farm with, in total, they had 8,000 cows, but they were milking 2,500, which was the biggest farm I'd ever stepped foot on. And then sort of coming up to here and listening to you guys, you've sort of got a bit of a split where you're sort of on the west, and you were saying about sort of you've got the livestock, the dairy, the sheep, things like that. But then on the east, you've got the arable. So it's sort of being able to travel and see all that. It is interesting seeing the different sides of the country and how people farm differently. The different machinery, the different equipment they need, different requirements. I mean, I can talk to David, my colleague, about the stuff that he's selling to you, but I can go and talk to another area sales manager that we've got in a different part of the country. He's selling something totally different.
I think within the Cars Billington trading area as well is we've got nearly all types of farming types in the area. The only thing we probably haven't got is the stuff that's down in Kent, like the hops and the barley and the vineyards, and we haven't got any of them up here.
No, no, exactly. And it was funny when we were out in the east of the country, they were all veg farmers and sort of seeing what they do. And then I've just gone in your country store and you've got loads on slurry and silage and things like that. And it's interesting seeing how you've set your shop up to support those customers in the best way. And seeing that is great, because sometimes when you're in the office, you don't get to see the real world side of things. And yeah, going back to your question of have I been able to travel with these videos and content, we've managed to go all over, and it has been really interesting visiting different dealers and seeing how they set up. And I mean, we're now starting to actually go onto farms. So we're going across the country and seeing how each farm is different, because we all work differently. And you probably find it between your depots that you're getting different customers in.
Completely different customers, different types of farming, and that's why we stock different products at different branches.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all very different, aren't
Very
they?
varied, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that means, again, it goes back to Sparex being able to offer their catalogue. It means that we can support more Carr's Billington customers the best way possible. But yeah, seeing that variation has been really interesting. And yeah, coming down to my brother and explaining to him where I've been and things like that is always good fun. And he'll say, "Oh, why are they doing that? They don't need to be doing that," and things like
Just
that.
different mindset in a different area of the country.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely different. So it has been really. It has been great to see the differences between.
You're up north now.
differences.
You're up north.
I know. Nose is bleeding and everything. I tell you what, since I've turned up, it's been running like a good one. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're a bit picky about the temperature, aren't you?
Oh, it is freezing. I've only just warmed up coming in here, so it's yeah.
It is
cold.
warm in here. So we mentioned the day at the dealer a couple of times, and just to explain sort of what we've been doing today, because I think that'd be quite interesting for people. So the idea behind this is you visit a dealer and you cover everything about their business, or as much as you can.
Yeah, so it actually started off, we went to a customer of ours and we were doing training with them. And that evening, we were actually doing a video on our lights. So we're fitting them to a Fendt and a Massey Ferguson. And we're completely decking them out in our new high-powered range.
Yeah.
And so, of course, whilst the product team were doing the training, me and my colleague George were kind of hanging around waiting for them to finish. So we're like, why don't we do a sort of behind the scenes dealer video? So it kind of started off with me just walking around, talking to a few people, hopping in a few tractors, driving them around, seeing what they're like and things like that. And I mean, it was a bit of a hit, and it kind of has snowballed into this big sort of day at the dealer video where now I get the joys of going around the country, visiting different dealers, different people, and talking about what they've got going on in the day. So, I mean, for example, Ivan, me and you were talking about the showroom and the parts side of the business.
I'm really pleased as well because my guys didn't know this was happening today, and then we turned up and it was really tidy.
Yeah.
Because and credit them because it's always really tidy.
Yeah.
It's always really tidy in Carlisle, like so.
Yeah, and just seeing the way that you've kind of organised your parts side of the business would be different to some of the other dealers that we've been into. But that, again, goes back to their set up to the different farming types. So depending on what that general area farms, they'll set up towards that, whereas you guys have set yourselves up towards that. And so, yeah, it's been really interesting, and especially the fact of how you work with the workshop and the parts business. I like how unique with that is with sort of they can come up to the desk and go, right, I need this. You guys go and pick it, and it's there. It's just another time saving. It's
we have to provide good service to the workshop, but ultimately the workshop's the parts department's biggest customer.
Is that because they'll give you jib if you don't give them good service? Yeah, I thought so.
Well, the thing is, the workshop needs the parts to keep the customer happy to fix the machines, so we have to provide the service to get the parts on time.
Yeah, of course, because you want a quick turnaround, don't you,
Exactly.
to get it out. And again, you could argue that's going to fall on us more to get you certain parts or certain products to you as quick as we can. So
Absolutely, and plus the deliveries from Sparex is pretty good. It's first thing in the morning,
yeah,
which is what you need.
even in Carlisle.
Yes.
It's a massive amount of products for a team to manage, though, isn't it? Like, how many SKUs?
Well,
Millions.
thousands and
Absolutely
thousands.
millions, yeah. So maybe one of the last questions then for you, Lee, because when we were going round, you've been round all the parts of our business. We're going to go to fuels this afternoon and the mill this afternoon. And you were making all the right noises about enjoying it and telling us about what you found was a bit of a wow factor. So just fill us in on your day today.
Yeah, so where did we start off? Started off in... Oh, God, where did we start off? We started off in the country store, which for me was a little bit odd because I sort of saw you as like a tractor dealer. So it was a bit odd walking into a country store and it actually also being a...
We sell more than just parts.
Yeah, exactly. So that was great. And I think it's been interesting seeing your guys' sort of unique position that you're in, because you are so versatile and you cover so many different areas. So it was interesting seeing that in the showroom. And then going into the parts side with you, Ivan, and seeing how you cover that and you try and stay as efficient as possible. And sort of seeing like bits like the linkage range you're doing. We discussed there about like the PTO stuff that you're doing and how you've been sort of how that feeds in.
And I explained how the workshop works with a bell and
yes.
And it can be quite difficult at Carlisle because I've worked behind the counter there a few times, and you can have 2 or 3. You can be actually by yourself with 2 or 3 customers, and you guarantee when you got 2 or 3 customers, the phone's ringing. And you guarantee when you got 2 or 3 customers, the phone's ringing. The back bell is ringing at the workshop. So yeah, it can be quite intense in there.
And I've heard even the apprentice knows the special bell ring.
Exactly. Yeah, when he does that special bell ring, they don't get any service.
So no, it's been great fun to hear that, and then actually getting into the workshop and talking to some of your guys as to what they're doing. So talking to Jack and seeing how he's getting on with the apprenticeship scheme and how he works with AGCO by going down Stoneleigh and learning all the latest things that are coming out has been great. Especially he was talking about the new engines that they're bringing in and how they're sort of future-proofing it for hydrogen and things like that. That's been really interesting. And then going over to Dan and the auger, how he's welding that up, why he's doing it, and things like that. So it's been great. And then, of course, finishing off in the yard and taking a look at what you've got going on in the yard. And I think for me, that was more talking to Neil and Chris and sort of understanding what sort of customers you get coming in and then how they're kind of tailoring your offering to those customers.
And that's only one depot of
out. Yeah.
11 machinery branches. So 12 machinery branches we have now. You've just seen one, so it's a huge operation.
For me, down in Devon, of course, you're only seeing a little corner of it. So you only see certain machinery and things like that. And as you said, because it is small farms, you can't get the big 9S's and 8S's sort of on the yard. It's just, sometimes they're just too big. And sort of seeing where those types of tractors fit into the industry and how they work has been really interesting.
Well, I think we'll just end there, Lee, and then we will take ourselves up to the mill and we'll take ourselves up to fuel and you can see another element of the business. Thank you very much for coming. And thank you, Ivan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that's episode 9 over. On to episode 10 next. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Please share, like and subscribe.